Today we are covering eXp in detail. We're going to go into everything that you must know about eXp, just some nuances as well that aren't being covered right now. So just making sure that the audio is working okay. So as we're going through, and if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them down in the chat. Happy to address anything that might come up. So we're going to go pretty quickly, but we're going to be thorough. So just as questions come up, please feel free to drop them in the chat. Happy to address anything that comes up. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. We want to understand. Let me move this for a quick second. Let's look at eXp a little bit closer. Let's look at what it actually is and what it is not. So we're going to go into the commission. We're going to go into the fees. We're going to go into revenue, share stock, perks, and something that you need to watch out for as you're learning more about the brokerage. So you might be at a place where you are ready, willing, and able to go with eXp Realty, or you're just at the beginning phase of exploring the brokerage. Either way, this is going to be a video that's going to be very instrumental in teaching you and sharing with you what eXp Realty is and what it is not. So let's get into it. Let's go into a little bit of a history of eXp Realty. Well, it was founded in 2009 by Glenn Sanford. So you can see in 2009 is when it officially launched. And in 3 short years, eXp launches in Canada. So within 3 years, it's already in an international stage. So you have 2 countries represented. And if we fast forward, we see 2015. I only make note of this because we're going to need to reference this here in a little bit, where when eXp launches the Agent Equity and Icon Agent program. So eXp is not only went public in 2013 over here on the OTC, so it's over the counter shares or the platform, but here we are officially in the Agent Equity that we'll get into here in a little bit, and different ways to earn equity along the way. What I want to highlight more than anything right now is 2018, we see that eXp officially opened in all 50 states. So did I say 15? 2018. So within 9 years, eXp made the jump into all 50 states. That is unheard of. So that gives you a sense of the speed that eXp is growing, and it only goes faster. So in 2019, you see that eXp turns officially 10 years old and has over 25,000 agents. Well, 2 short years later, it's at 67,000 agents. And as of this recording, we're about to hit 80,000 agents. So if you're looking at a time span of 2019 to where we are now, which is 2022, within 3 years later, it added, 55,000 more agents, which is unreal. So here within a span of 13 years or so, eXp has reached 80,000 agents, which is unreal. So we're going to go into a bit more molecular details. So if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them down in the chat. I'd be happy to address any of them that come up. Well, why is this happening? Why is this such a big deal? Why is what is eXp all about? What is accelerating this growth? Well, eXp Realty is the first cloud-based brokerage. So remember when it started in 2009? Well, in 2009, the adoption of technology was high, but it wasn't as high as it is today. So it was ahead of the time. But really, if you really look at it in 2020 with the pandemic and everything that we've gone through there, it really accelerated the jump into the online digital space, especially in real estate, as it was very heavy in the brick and mortar from a real estate brokerage perspective. So that really helped fuel it. Also, something else that really helped fuel it was eXp allows agents to become true owners and shareholders. We talked about the Icon program presented in 2015, and also what we're going to go into what the comp plans in terms of equity and shares and being a true owner looks like at eXp, where now companies that didn't offer that before, they're at a heavy disadvantage from eXp. So we have agents joining from Century 21, from Keller Williams, from Coldwell Banker, all these other brokerages that just from that standpoint, they can't compete. They've been competing from a franchise model. So you see that we are not a franchise. eXp Realty is not a franchise at all. It's one singular company, where if we take models such as Keller Williams as an example, well, you would have to purchase out a franchise in order to represent the brand and recruit your own office and grow your own office. So you're a business owner, but just like a franchise denotes, you're paying franchise fees to the actual owner of the company. So Keller Williams, there's a franchise fee that goes along with having that location. For any agent, any broker that wants to open up their location, well, they have to pay that franchise fee, right? And that doesn't go away. Now, you are going to see brick and mortar locations scattered throughout the United States and scattered throughout the world, because at this point we're in over 20 countries at the moment. Now, I want to explain the brick and mortar locations because I deal with this a lot more from agents that are already in the industry and are wanting to get into a brokerage. And when they're looking at eXp, they'll either see some local brick and mortar locations, or they just won't find any eXp offices. Now, if they don't find any eXp offices, that's not a cause for alarm by any stretch of the imagination. It just means that we're digital, so you're not expecting to have really that many brick and mortar locations. Now, for those that end up finding local brick and mortar locations, what I want to explain here is most of the time, if you find a local brick and mortar location that is eXp, has an eXp logo on it, that's not corporate office. The corporate office is all virtual. So we're all on eXp World. We're all on the cloud. Those brick and mortar locations were actually many of them, not all, but many of them and most of them were former brokerages for another broker. So they were under a different banner. So they were either the X and Y group with Keller Williams, the X and Y team with Remax, right? So it was previous brokerages, but they made the transition into eXp. So they have the commercial space already. And what you're going to find is pretty unique, that many of those team leaders, many of those brokers that end up making the move over to eXp, they end up letting go of their physical location as soon as the commercial lease runs out. So what I want to illustrate here is that if you see brick and mortar locations, it's not necessarily that they're company owned. It's actually former team leaders or former brokers that opened up a store or opened up a location under the eXp brand because they came from a different brokerage. Now, as mentioned previously, we have over 80,000. Well, we have just about 80,000 agents, and eXp Realty does not do property management. So let me repeat that again. eXp Realty does not do property management at this point in time. If you are heavy with property management, it doesn't mean that you can't do it. It just means that you can't do it within eXp. So that book of business that you have for property management, that particular book of business would need to be run through another brokerage if your states allow it. So there's certain states that won't allow that duality, but in quite a few states that is allowed. So you're going to want to reach out to your broker and see, hey, with this property management, what do I do with it? Can I operate my property management business outside of it, or do I need to sell it, or what do I need to do to be compliant? So just be aware that if you have some property management, you're going to need to find a landing spot for that is not eXp. Now, jumping into the commissions, because this is very important for any decision, because we're talking about the money. So we're going to cover commissions and fees at this point in time. So the commission split at eXp is 80-20, 80% for the agent, 20% for the brokerage. eXp has a $16,000 cap. So what that means is when the brokerage receives $16,000 as you're making sales, and that amounts to $16,000, then you will have capped and you go to 100% commission split. So if you're looking at numbers as many agents do, what this looks like in terms of sales is if you sell 2.66 million in sales volume at an average commission rate that you charge your clients at 3%, then you will be at $16,000 at that $16,000 cap. So that means that with that 2.66 million in sales volume, you charging your clients 3% commission, that if you do the math on that, that's $80,000 of GCI, and $16,000 of that would go to the brokerage, which would meet your cap, and the remainder would be yours. So basically $64,000, right? So again, just giving you a bunch of math numbers, which is giving you a bunch of figures, but just so you understand how that breaks out. All right, so you're going to be 80-20 on the commission split until you cap at $16,000. That's the standard. That's the standard commission split. That's the standard that you can expect. However, if you're a brand new agent or haven't had at least 3 transactions in the previous 12 months, then it's not an 80-20 split. It is 60-40 for the first 3 transactions, and then it becomes an 80-20 split until you cap. So let me repeat that again. If you are a new agent or haven't had at least 3 transactions in the previous 12 months, then you're going to go into the Mentor Mentee program, which is a 60-40 split, not a, let's see here, not a 80-20. So the Mentor Mentee program, where as you're seeing, it's a 60-40 split, so there's an additional 20% that gets charged. The additional 20% goes on to pay eXp University, so the program itself, and goes on to pay your mentor, because you get a mentor for your first 3 transactions, and they are getting compensated for that support. So just so you're fully aware, your first 3 transactions would be 60-40, and then you go on to 80-20 until you cap. So that's for new agents. Again, I just want to make sure that you're fully informed as you're exploring eXp further. Now, as always, you have to read through the fine print. So here at the bottom, you see that after you cap, after you go to that 100% commission split, there is a transaction fee, and that transaction fee is $250. So let's just say it took you 10 transactions to cap. Well, on transaction 11, you may not be paying that 80-20 split, but you will be paying that $250 cap transaction fee. All right, so I just want you to be aware of that, which does in and of itself, if you read here a little bit further, that in and of itself has its own cap. So what that means is after you cap, you have $250 transaction fee per transaction. If you go on to do 20 more transactions, each one of those would be $250 of transaction fee. Then once you do 20 more transactions, there's another reduction in fees. So if you, let's just say you cap at 10 transactions, that means that you will have paid the $16,000 into the brokerage. If you go on to do 20 more transactions, that means that you have sold 30 transactions for that year. But on transaction 31, it's no longer the $250 cap transaction fee. It's now reduced down to $75. So for that, when it comes to that type of volume, you could see that it's very advantageous come transaction 31, 32, 33, 34, because there you're only paying this reduced cap fee, which is incredible. And there's another perk that you're going to really like when we talk about equity that has specifically to do with these fees and the capping. All right, so standard cost, that's the commission. So as the transaction happens, that's the commission split that you can expect. Now let's look at the standard cost. The startup fee is $149, which includes your first month's fee at eXp already. So your monthly fee at eXp is $85 a month. So whether you sell 0 homes or 100 homes in 1 month, it's going to be $85 just for the cloud brokerage fee, for the eXp Realty fee. Now, that $85 is a constant. That's fixed. That's going to continue to happen whether you sell 0 homes or 100 homes. These next 2 fees that we're looking at are based off of a transaction. So when you have a transaction, it's going to be $25 for broker review. That's going to happen regardless if you're capped or you haven't capped or you've hit what's called icon, which we'll talk about in the further slides. $25 is going to be there for always, right? And then the risk management fee, it's $40 until you cap at $500. So here, if you do the math, it's roughly 13 transactions that it would take for you to max out your E&O, Where if you're looking at other brokerages, and you might be at a brokerage there that's doing that right now, other brokerages will actually charge you this $500, $800, $2,000 for E&O or risk management up front without you having sold anything. So they're using that as a profit share or a revenue stream for them, because they understand that if I charge people ahead of time, if I charge people ahead of time, I know that not all of them are going to sell all that real estate, right? So these are the fees and these are the commission splits. So if you have any questions, please feel free to comment down below. We're going to keep going, but this gives you a good understanding of what to expect at eXp when it comes to commission and fees. All right, so the special perks. You do get 3 personal transactions every single year, and there you don't have to pay a split regardless if you have capped or not. Your personal transactions that you're buying homes or you're selling homes on your personal name, your transaction cost is $250. So if you decide to purchase a home and you haven't capped, you're not paying that 80-20 split on that personal transaction. You're just paying $250. So you do away with that split for that personal. So that's incredible for you investors out there that are buying, that are rehabbing, that are putting things on market. You get 3 transactions that you're only paying $250 a piece instead of paying a full split. That's incredible. Some brokerages don't even allow you to sell the homes that you're a part of. So you have to pay a referral fee to other agents, and on top of that, pay the split. So that's a huge differentiator here. Now, minimum company dollar is $500. Now, what this means is when you have a transaction that you want to, let's just say you want to give a discount to family or friends, you can do whatever discount you want. You can charge whatever you want, but as long as you're able to cover the minimum company dollar, eXp does not care. So as an example, if you have a really good friend or a really good family member that you want to sell their house for free because they're going to give you the buy side, well, you could in theory do that. You could in theory charge them $0 as long as, so you don't have to charge them 3%, 2%, 1%, whatever you charge. You could sell it for $0. However, eXp will need to see at least $500. So either you're paying those $500 or your family member is paying that $500. But that transaction, if it's going to close at eXp, there has to be a minimum company dollar at least $500. So as an example, I did do that with one of my friends that was buying a brand new build. So I sold his house for $0. I just asked him to cover that $500 plus the $25 for broker review and $40 for E&O. So the cost of selling his house was $565. So if you look back, if you add these together, 25 plus 40 plus 500, that's $565. All right, so those are just special perks that a lot of folks don't ever think about to ask because it just doesn't come up. So I like to include those because it's something unique that not all brokerages do. Now, when it comes to equity, agents can become shareholders at eXp Realty. So we are publicly traded on the NASDAQ, and our ticker symbol is EXPI. So you can go and look at EXPI right now and see how it's performing. Now with stock, it can go up, down, sideways, diagonally, whatever. It's stock, right? The beauty of our comp plan is that you're getting this stock as you're selling real estate. So the same thing that you're doing at a Century 21, at a Remax, at a Keller Williams, at a Sotheby's, at a Compass, at a whatever, the same thing that you're doing there is you're most of the time getting a better split here. So you're already getting an instant raise, but on top of that, you're getting stock along the way for doing what you're already doing, which is selling real estate. And it gets even better when we cover revenue share. But for right now, I just want you to understand that this is not a trade-off. This is just a straight up ad for what you're doing. So there's 5 ways to earn stock. The first way is you earn shares on your first transaction every single year. So the first time that you have your first transaction, the first transaction of the year is a better way of saying that, you get $200 worth of stock. So regardless of what the stock value is, you're going to get that $200 worth. Now, Another way to earn stock is you earn shares when you fully cap. This happens again every single year. So every single year that you cap, you receive more stock, and that's $400 worth of stock when you cap. The third way is you earn shares when an agent you sponsor closes their first transaction. So at eXp, you can sponsor an agent into the brokerage, and when they make their first transaction ever at eXp, you receive another $400 in stock. Now that one is a one-time thing. That is not a yearly thing like you capping. Every time you cap, you get $400 in stock every year. That you do that. Every time you make your first transaction in that year, you receive some stock. But here, we're talking about shares that when an agent that you sponsor closes their first transaction, that's a one-time event. It's just when they make their first transaction at eXp, and that's $400. Now, we talked about very briefly the Icon Agent Award, where you can earn up to $16,000 in stock upon the achievement of certain production and cultural goals within your anniversary year. What that means is that if you go on to sell 20 more transactions after you cap, you become an Icon Agent at eXp, and you're eligible to receive $16,000 in stock. So if you go on to do about again, let's just assume you capped at 10,000 with 10 transactions, you sold what you needed to cap. So you paid $16,000 into the brokerage. Well, if you go on to do 20 more transactions after that, then with that level of production, the $16,000 that you originally paid into the brokerage, well, it can come back to you in the form of stock. So that's huge. That's incredible. So right now, just use this as a comparison to the brokers that you're a part of right now, and ask them, hey, if I sell 30 transactions, or if I sell 40 transactions, 80 transactions, will you give me my cap back? Assuming you have one. Many brokerages don't. So not only do we have a cap, but you have the ability of earning that back. So go to your broker right now and ask that, hey, if I sell 50 transactions this year, can I get the $16,000, $30,000, $40,000 in cap that I paid? Do I get that back? They're going to laugh you out of the room. So that's a huge differentiator, and that's really one of the big reasons that eXp has grown so quickly. All right, so and the fifth way is the Agent Equity Program, where you can enroll to be paid 5% of every transaction commission with stock at a 10% discount. So what that means is that with all the commission that you're earning, you can allocate 5% of the commission that you're earning to purchase stock at a 10% discount. This is voluntary. No one's forcing you to purchase stock. You don't have to do that. But what many agents are doing is they're kind of using this as their IRA or using this as their 401k, where they're taking in some of that commission and purchasing stock along the way, so they don't see it in their bank account and forget to purchase stock at a later date. And on top of that, there's a 10% discount with this. So it's incredible. Now, we briefly talked about revenue share. So let's really dig in and understand what revenue share is, because there's really 3 revenue streams at eXp. Primarily, there's more, but we're going to highlight 3 very specifically. The first one was commission. So as you're selling homes, it's important to know the commission. The second one was equity. So we just went through that slide of there's 5 ways to earn equity at eXp. And then the third is revenue share. So revenue share is what we're going to cover right now, where eXp's revenue share plan is one way that eXp rewards its agents for attracting new agents to join eXp, commonly referred to as recruiting. Simply, an eXp agent can sponsor a new agent to join eXp. Once the new agent begins closing on transactions, the sponsor receives a percentage of the company revenue for the sales activity of their sponsored agent until their annual commission cap of $16,000 is reached. So what this is saying is that once you sponsor an agent, you get to participate in a part of their revenue that they're earning up until the point that that agent caps. And you're going to see why. An important note is that eXp pays that share, not the agent. It is taken from the 20% adjusted gross commission income received by eXp. It's paid to the sponsor agent monthly. So what this is saying is the split at eXp is 80-20. 80% for the brokerage, 80% for the agent, 20% for the brokerage. eXp is using half of that, so 20%, half of that is 10%, is using half of that to operate this revenue share program, where it is rewarding agents that sponsor agents into the company. So you as a sponsor, so if you sponsor an agent into the brokerage and they put you down as their sponsor, the person that was most influential of them joining the brokerage, what that means is that as the agent that you sponsor makes sales, you're receiving a portion of that revenue from the company side, from that brokerage side. You're not digging into the profits of the agent. You're not digging into really anybody's profits. It's the company is actually paying this share as a token of appreciation. Now, one of the questions that comes up is, well, how much can I earn? This is going to be, this in of itself can be an entire video, and I have a video on it. So make sure that you check out the other videos in this channel, and I'll make sure to link it down below so you can check it out. But every agent that you sponsor, like on your tier 1, so meaning a direct sponsor, you personally sponsor that agent, you can earn up to $2,800 from each individual agent. Now let's just say you sponsored 10 agents personally. So that means that you could have $2,800 times 10 is $28,000. So if you sponsor 10 agents that go on to Cap, you can earn $28,000 per year in perpetuity. And when you pass away, because we're all going to do that, you can will the revenue share over to a family member. So it continues building, right? So that's huge. That just doesn't happen. Now, let's just say those 10 agents, of those 10 agents, they each sponsored one agent. So each one of those 10 agents sponsored one agent that was capping as well. So if you have 10 agents on your tier 1, so your level 1, you personally sponsor them, and each one of them sponsored one, well, that means that there's 10 agents on your tier 2 because you get compensated up to tier 7. So not only do you get compensated for that tier 1, which again we talked about, if it's 10 agents is $28,000. If those agents on the tier 2, if they go on to Cap as well, it's $3,200 for each one of those agents in perpetuity for you. So there, you very quickly made a $60,000. I say quickly, it does take a lot of commitment. These are just a representation. This is not a guarantee. You can earn up to this amount. There's a lot of effort that you need to put into it. There's a lot of things that you need to do in order to be able to attract that many agents and recruit those agents. But at the end of the day, if we're talking about having 20 agents in your team or in your group that you 10 that you sponsor directly, and then each one of them goes on to sponsor another agent, well, you could very easily find yourself in a $16,000 a year business that continues to grow, because agents can sponsor more agents, more agents. So we have agents at the company that they have sponsored 20, 30, 40 agents personally directly, but that revenue share organization grew to 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 30,000 agents, and some agents are receiving over $1 million in revenue share every single month. So that exists, that's happening today. So just something that you need to be aware of. Now that's revenue share, that's that third revenue stream. So if you have any questions, please feel free to comment down below. Now, when it comes to teams, you have the opportunity of building a team at eXp here as well. So I know that other brokerages will give you that opportunity. That's the same thing here. Now, quickly, I want to address something that you're not seeing on the screen right now, which is a domestic partnership. You can have a domestic partnership team. So if it's a husband and wife team, which is mostly what ends up happening, both of y'all can form a team and both of y'all are working towards one cap, right? So that way you have you can work as a team, and you have the ability of iconing, which is, again, when you hit the icon program, you're eligible to get the $16,000 back that you originally paid into the company, and you're able to work towards one goal. So yes, the domestic partnership is available here at eXp. It's not available everywhere in other brokerages. So I want you to know that. Now, as far as different types of teams, we do have options. The first one is the most flexible, which is the self-organized team. where you won't have a reduced cap for team members. You won't need your agents won't need to give you a minimum referral percentage. You don't need to have the team agreement approved by eXp, but you do need to provide a team roster to eXp so they're able to track it on the back end, so you're getting paid accordingly. Right? So you have that self-organized team, which provides you the most flexibility. Now, the standard team. The standard team has a few more restrictions, but it has a few more benefits. So if you create a standard team, you allow your agents to have a reduced half cap for your team members. So instead of a $16,000 cap, they can have an $8,000 cap. There is a minimum referral percentage that they owe you as a team leader if you happen to be the team leader. So what that means is there has to be a minimum percentage that they give you on every transaction that they close, and that percentage is 25%. The team agreement is required to be approved by eXp. You do also need to provide the team roster to eXp, and the minimum, there has to be a minimum of $6 million or 30 closed transactions in the previous 12 months. So there are production requirements if you're going to create this standard team. Now, the Mega Icon team, basically think of it as the standard team, which is what we just went through, that middle option, except just think of it like it's on steroids. So let me move myself real quick. It is a reduced quarter cap for its team members. So instead of paying the $16,000 cap, it's a $4,000 cap because it's a quarter cap. So it's actually half of the standard one. The minimum referral percentage is still at play, and that's still 25%. So your team members, if you're the team leader, they owe you 25% on the closed transactions. Your team agreement still needs to be approved. Your team roster still needs to be required. But in your Mega Icon team, there's a mega production expectation, which you're looking at a minimum of $40 million in sales, 175 closed transactions, and 10 capping team members in the previous 12 months. So as you can see, it does require a bit more, right? So we'll keep going. But if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them down below. All right, I'm just trying to find a good place for my camera to go, but I'm just not finding it. Healthcare. According to NAR, 28 to 33% of realtors are uninsured in any given year. So a third of you are not insured. And that used to be me way back in the day, but then I ended up getting like a MediShare type of a situation. It was really truly wasn't insurance. It was just one of the ways to just get some group benefits. I ended up trading that in for this healthcare. So I am covered by Clearwater. I am part of the agent healthcare that eXp offers because I need some surgeries. I need some knee surgeries and shoulder surgeries. The best thing that I can tell you is to go to exphealthcare.com, book an appointment, and compare your health insurance with the one that's being offered here. Simply just to hear them out. If it makes sense, if you get better coverage, lower copays, and it's better for your family, then change. If it doesn't make better sense, if you're paying more, there's higher copays, and you get less coverage, then don't change. But explore this option because with 80,000 agents strong, this is a formidable company that will drive down the cost for everybody, right? So this gives you an opportunity to really leverage the power of the marketplace, the power of numbers, and hopefully this healthcare option it works for you. If it doesn't, then okay, you explored it. You did your homework and it just didn't work out. Now, one of the things that we really need to talk about is the real estate that's being sold. So for the longest time, especially starting out, not as much now, but starting out, eXp was labeled just the recruiting company, was labeled all they do is recruit at eXp. Well, as numbers continue to come up and as numbers continue to just explode, it's a little bit harder to make that claim right now because eXp is ranked number one as an independent. So it's the largest independent brokerage in the country right now. It's the number one mover in transactions. It's the number one mover for sales volume percentage. To put this in perspective, in terms of the entire brokerage landscape, both from a sales volume and a units number, eXp is number 4 in sales and number 5 in transactions, number of transactions in the entire United States. So this is stacking up against Remax. This is stacking up against Keller Williams. This is stacking up against any brokerage out there that you have heard of. We are up in the top 5. And what's super cool in every category that you can imagine. And what's super cool about this is that eXp accomplished that in 13 years. Coldwell Banker has been around for 100. And eXp was able to achieve that level of production within 13. Right? So you have this comparison, this whole notion of all eXp agents do is recruit is just dumb at this point. So either they're just misinformed, being disingenuous, or just don't understand how numbers work. This is these numbers are hard to deny at this point. And these aren't just numbers that eXp is putting out there this is numbers that eXp puts out there on their own. Actually, it's Real Trends that's making these reports. So it's an independent person. It's not just eXp giving you their opinion, right? So as far as real estate being sold, there's a lot of it, right? And the reason that our market cap exceeds a lot of the other brokerages out there that have gone public, like the Realities of the world, as an example, which is a conglomerate of five or so large brokerages. I mean, there's a reason for that, because a lot of real estate gets sold. Very healthy balance sheet. Now, partners. The best thing I can tell you about partners is partners will either save your clients money, so your clients get to save some money. Partners will either save you money, or partners will make you money. So the partners that you have at eXp, so these are all either partners that were created by eXp and are actually portfolio companies, or partners that are vendor partners that collaborate with eXp. They're either going to save your client money, are either going to save you money as the agent, or are going to make you money through additional revenue streams. So if we're looking at saving your clients money as an example, you have the home warranty department, which it's America's preferred home warranty. That is a very competitive product for your clients, so they're saving money. If we're looking at Currencies Direct as an example, if you have a foreign buyer, you can direct them to Currencies Exchange, so Currencies Direct for currency exchange to change their yen to dollars or pesos to dollars, and they get a more favorable rate that way. So there you're saving them money. As another example, Utility Connect is another way for your clients to save money. So there's your client saving money. Now, how you make money. Let's go into saving money. So you as an agent, how you save money? Well, you can use the preferred vendor, the CE shop. So your CEs are less expensive. You get a discount for that. Agent healthcare, you get that as well. There's a potential discount for you there. Something that is not included in here is our co-working space, the space that we're partnered up with, which is Regus, Regus. Regus will save you money in office space. So if you want to go into a brick and mortar location and just have a place to land and do your work, or a place to meet your clients, well, you can use any Regus location worldwide for free. So you can just go into any Regus, regardless if you're in New York, regardless if you're in Miami, regardless if you're in wherever. You can walk into these offices, and because you are an eXp agent, you have access to these co-working professional facilities for absolutely free. It's a way that you save money. Now, how you make money is, we talked about the Currencies Direct here a few seconds ago, where if you have international buyers that want to purchase property, well, in the exchange of that currency, you actually get a small override as well. So you can get hundreds of dollars worth of, we'll call it commission, affiliate money, through that exchange if your buyers use that, or if your clients use that. Now, America's preferred home warranty, they'll also cut you a $50 check if your buyers end up using their home warranty. And there's other opportunities here, but I just wanted you to see that all the partners. By the time that this video gets to you, most likely it's going to be another slide. So this one's one of the more challenging ones to keep up to date, because there's always something being added, right? So we have agent coaching. You can save money on coaching as well. Now, something that is becoming more and more important with every brokerage is the technology. How can you be equipped to sell more real estate in a fraction of the time, or be better equipped to communicate with your clients so you can reach more of them, right? Well, we have eXp Enterprise, which is basically your hub for your business. If you have questions about the amount of shares that you have in the brokerage, if you have a question about where you are in production, if you need to get to the eXp World, which is our virtual brokerage, if you need to get access to anything, you just go to expenterprise.com, use your login, and you're plugged in. So if you get a brand new computer and you don't have anything bookmarked, well, you can type in expenterprise.com, log in, and you're up and running. If you're in vacation and you left your computer at home, or you don't have a laptop, you just have working on desktop, you can log in anywhere in the world, go to expenterprise.com, and boom, you're back in business and nobody suffers, right? So there's that eXp Enterprise, which is very healthy and robust. SkySlope is what we use for transaction management. So this is where you can have your contracts, send them out, get them executed, and where you can submit them into the brokerage so they can get reviewed and you can get paid. SkySlope is so easy to use. It's something that you have access to and you'll be managing your business through. Workplace by Facebook. Think of what Facebook is just in general, but now think of Facebook from the business perspective through a business lens. So in fact, we are pretty much the largest, we're the largest account for Facebook at the moment, where from a business perspective, from an enterprise perspective, where every agent that is part of Workplace that you're able to log into, every person that's on there is an eXp agent. So you'll have groups in there, you have masterminds in there, you'll have ways to network and collaborate with other eXp agents, so you don't have to go at this alone. So you are able to instantly plug into anybody in the company, including the executives, including Glenn Sanford, Jason Gessing. So all the founders and executives that are leading the company, you can instantly access those individuals, right? So it's quite unique. Now, your CRM and lead generation, you have KV Core, which is your email autoresponder, your text autoresponder, your website creator, your email, I already said email, landing page generator. It is a way for you to reach the consumer in a very concise way. And I have a lot of videos on KV Core, so you're going to want to check out those videos. Just type in KV Core, and you're going to see a lot of my videos that show you how to leverage that CRM, KV Core, to generate business. So you also have branding and marketing. Anything that you need, whether it's a buyer presentation, seller presentation, scripts, whatever, drips, everything, you have access to at eXp. So everything is editable for you, so you can instantly upload your image, upload your contact information, and make that flyer yours. You can really make any marketing piece that you can think of without having to pay a designer, or without having you to go to Fiverr or Upwork to get all this done for you. It's already been created, right? So, actually you can't even see it, but branding and marketing right there. All right, so now let's talk about sponsorship. So as we talked about towards the middle, we talked about the revenue share program. The revenue share program allows agents to sponsor other agents, and depending on who sponsors you is depending on how, in many cases, how quickly you can get your business up and running, how quickly you can get your questions answered, and really in some cases how long you would end up staying with eXp. And I hate to say it's exactly that way, because it goes beyond just the sponsorship. There's a self-onus, like you as a agent that is joining a brokerage, you do have to put of your own energy, your own effort, your own part. But at some point, if you're just not running into many answers with you having a lot of questions, then that's problematic. So just yesterday, as I was I get calls pretty frequently from other agents. Many of them are actually already part of eXp, but one of the agents called me asking, hey, what do I do? I was asked to put X, Y, and Z name. I'm not going to put their information on blast, but I was asked to put somebody's name as my sponsor. she doesn't return my calls. I don't know what to do. What am I supposed to do? I'm a brand new agent. How can I get support? Well, I spent about 10 to 15 minutes just really walking her through the resources that she had available to. I gave her my contact information, at least helped her on her way, and she'll check back in next week as soon as she has her things done. But the reason I highlight that particular case, one of many, is because who you join with as your sponsor matters. Unfortunately for this young lady, she's sponsored with somebody that just has a sponsor and leave mentality, meaning that they were very, very upfront and, hey, I want you to put me down as your sponsor and we're going to do this together. But the moment that happened, well, the sponsor ghosted her. So when it comes to sponsorship, there's really 4 levels of sponsorship. One, where a sponsor provides you nothing. That's basically it. That's what the situation here. And, there's different sponsors. 99.9% of sponsors will be this type of sponsor. They'll provide you nothing. You have sponsors that provide education to you. They'll tell you, they'll mentor you, they'll help you in terms of, they'll tell you what to do, right? You can call them and they'll have a question and they'll have an answer. So that's a level of support, right? That's that next level. You have very few sponsors that get to the 3rd level of support, which is the resources. Well, they'll give you their scripts. Well, they'll give you their funnels. Well, they'll give you their ad copy. They'll give you their resources that they have, that they spend thousands of dollars to obtain or spend years and years of perfecting. They'll just give you those resources. So that's the 3rd level of support. Now, there's a handful. There's basically a handful of agents that will do that in terms of sponsorship, and I know a good amount of them. But even fewer, in fact, pretty much less than a handful, will do the done-for-you service. Will they'll actually do your lead generation? Will they'll do video editing for you? Will they'll do your social media? Will they'll actually do a lot of the things that you're supposed to do as you're building your business? There's very few sponsorships like that, and I can safely tell you that our group, the Agent First group, the group that I started, we provide this level of sponsorship. So when you're sponsored by us, by our group, our staff will actually work with you in getting your social media done, getting your KV course set up, generating leads for you. We'll actually do all these services for you. We even edit all of your videos. Video is more important now, more than ever. So we're very heavy with videos. So you just have to turn in the raw files and our team is going to edit that for you without having to pay for that. Right? So we provide such a value add that is just insane. We're growing at rapid numbers, just haven't been seen before. And it's because we certainly don't do nothing. That's that first level of support, but we do provide the education. We have Monday through Friday training. We do provide resources where we give you our funnels, where we'll give you websites, where we'll give you the scripts and everything that we have, but we also do a lot of this for you. So we'll use our internal staff and do this. Right? If you're looking to get buyers, we'll help you get buyers. If you're looking to get sellers, we'll help you get sellers. If you're looking to sponsor agents for your revenue share, we'll actually do that for you. Right? So who you join with matters. If you have any questions about eXp or would like to have a conversation, the link down below will give you some additional information and a way to connect. So if you have any questions, please feel free to either comment down below, check out the link down below. But I want to be a resource. If there's anything